I'm on a quest to find the best time-lapse spot in New York City. So I'm gonna head out today and go to 5 different spots in New York. I'm gonna take a time lapse and I'm gonna let you determine what you think is the best spot to take a time lapse in all of New York City. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go to 5 different locations today, and I'm gonna start off with Grand Central. So we're gonna head up on the subway to Grand Central, and I'll see you then. Okay, change of plans. There were delays on that train, and then one went straight through the station, so I'm gonna go up the west side instead. I've always loved time lapses since I was watching Casey Neistat's videos 5, 6, 7 years ago, and so it's exciting to be able to go out in the streets and do my own. Okay, so the new first spot for a time lapse that we're gonna go is at the overpass at the very northern end of the High Line, which overlooks a nice street in New York. I really like this spot and I've done a time lapse here before, so I'm excited to show you what we can get. And up here, this bridge is where I'll be setting up. But first I need to get a cup of coffee, so let's do that. Thank you. Got it. So the High Line is an old raised train platform that they've turned into a park, a public space, and a walking path. And we're right here in Hudson Yards at the very end of it. So now I'm gonna set up my tripod, get my camera settings locked in, and sit here and read my book for however long it takes to get a good time lapse. That's kind of the fun thing about time lapses, is that they can take a long time, which can be annoying, but it can also be really relaxing. I want to get as much compression in the shot as possible, so I'm going to use my 70-200 lens, which gets me a lot more zoom, and it also pulls everything together into one plane. And I think that in this shot, that is the most interesting thing we could do. That's all set up, and now I just have to sit here for the next 20 minutes, I think, and we'll see what we get. We are on the last shot. There it goes. Let's take a look. I love it. Perfect. One down, 4 to go. Time for us to pack up and head to the next spot, which happens to be one of the most popular tourist destinations in New York City, Times Square. Here we go. This is kind of fun because I can walk above ground on this raised walkway to get part of the way there to avoid lights and traffic and stuff.
Ready, roll like whoever, I'm on the way.
Don't make eye contact with anyone in Times Square, ever. It's not worth it. Okay, I made it to Times Square, but they've got my vantage point blocked off. So I'll play another time lapse from a previous time that I was here, but we'll try to get one today anyway. All right, we got it set up. There are so many people here. I do not like coming here very much, but for you guys, I'll do it. All right, Times Square is officially behind us, and we're headed to our next location, Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central is a main train hub in and out of New York City if you're coming in from another state or if you commute in for work. And I just looked it up, 750,000 people a day come in and out of Grand Central every single day. So we're gonna go to the main terminal, see if we can set up a tripod and get a time lapse. It is the weekend, so I don't expect that the volume will be quite as high, but I'm still pretty excited to see what we can get. I'll see you when we're in there. All right, we made it. I'm gonna set up my camera and get going. Finished up. Now I'm going to take the subway down to Washington Square Park for time lapse number 4 out of 5. Washington Square Park is in the dead center of Manhattan, and it's where NYU is located. And so often, there's a lot of students and people sitting around in the park, and it makes for some super interesting people watching. So we're gonna go see if we can get a time lapse of all of the people with the famous Washington Square Arch in the background. Just finished up at Washington Square Park, got a really good time lapse and a thumbnail for this video. It is 3 p.m. and I have not eaten yet today, so I am gonna go grab something to eat before we go to our 5th and final location of the day. Surprise guest. Hello.
Hello.
Emily came with me to Washington Square Park and she's gonna help me get something to eat. All right, got my food. Now it's time for some coffee and on to location number 5. Got it. All right, let's head out to the Manhattan Bridge for an iconic New York City shot. I probably should not have walked because that was a long walk, but here we are, about to go up onto the Manhattan Bridge. I'm going up onto the Manhattan Bridge because there's a really famous photo spot out above a highway on the edge of Manhattan where the cars run underneath you and you can get a really cool shot of downtown at sunset. So that's what we're gonna do for our final time lapse of the day. Here we are at location number 5. This is almost to the middle of the Manhattan Bridge, and we're positioned right above the FDR, which is a highway that runs up and down on the east side of Manhattan. As you can see, someone has nicely cut a hole here, and this is where we're gonna set up for our final time lapse. So I'm up on the Manhattan Bridge and I'm looking towards my camera, which is shooting right now. I'm gonna do a day to night time lapse, so it takes a lot longer. But subway cars keep going by and shaking the bridge like this. So I'm hoping that as it gets a little bit darker and I need a longer exposure, the shaking doesn't really ruin the shot. So I guess we'll see. So I'm done shooting. I'm walking back home. It's been about 6 hours since I left my house today. I've taken about 2,000, maybe 2,500 photos. I've walked 15,000 steps. I'm exhausted. I can't wait to see these photos, so I'm gonna get home, put them on the computer, and we'll see what we got. I'll see you guys back at home. Okay, so I just finished filming the time-lapse video, and I just put it together, and I like all of the time-lapses. Please let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite, and I'll put out more content like this moving forward. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.